Ugh, 2018. I am old, but proud and inspired. And I have to say that I'm still afraid. And I still don't think I'm good enough, and I'm qualified enough, and I'm smart enough, and I'm a trailblazer enough. And the person that I'm going to introduce as a trailblazer is what makes me feel ready and right and able to do what I do every single day, because she holds my hand and walks with me with strength, with fiercity, if that's a word, I don't know, but it is now, and with grace and grit every single day. And I think it's why I'm still doing what I'm doing, because it's fun, it's exciting, and I love it, and I love who and how I do it with this person. So let me just tell you a little bit about this person. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, in a faraway land called Russia, I was at a business meeting, and I decided to bring my son, my oldest son, who's now 34, his birthday was yesterday, with me on this trip, because I thought for life, for business, he needed to understand culture, and what better culture than Russia? So of course, we went to the top of the Ritz in Moscow, and I was teaching him how to drink champagne and eat caviar. Life lesson. And the phone rings. And it's one of Alex's dear friends from NYU. And she calls up and she says, "Alex, can you please ask your mother if she's looking for a summer intern?" I said, "Of course, I'm always looking for a summer intern. Bring her on board." Her name was Talia Bender. Talia came into my life as an intern, and that moment was a life-changing moment for me. It was love at hello, but more importantly, this was a trailblazer that was ripe and ready for growth, for learning, for life lessons, and for how to say yes, and then what am I saying yes to? That's my kind of girl. It was an amazing summer. She asked all the right questions. She actually was kind of bossy even at the time, but bossy was leadership. I remember bringing her to a client meeting with one of my largest clients. I don't know if you're going to remember this, Talia. And he's kind of a major player in market research. I was in market research at the time. And we go to this qualitative focus group in Vegas, and he's showing us all of his latest little tricks and tools and all that. And I'm like, wow, kiss ass, wow, wow. And she says to him, "You know, that's kind of dated. You're looking at one screen and then making us go into another room to look at another screen. Have you thought about integrating it into one room?" She was 19 years old. And I'm like, oh my God. And then my heart's pounding and pounding like, you can't do that. But you know what? Yes, you can. It was brilliant, and it was genius, and it changed the game for this guy that thought he had all the answers, but now he had a plus that he didn't even know. So Talia then says to me, "By the way, I'm going back to school. Can you keep me on board while I'm in school at NYU?" And I said to her, "Well, why are you bothering going back to school?" Oh, sorry, Donna, her mother's here. "Why are you bothering going back to school? The best education is not in a textbook. You've got a job for life. Call it a day." And she actually did go back to school. And she did work full-time for me at the same time. She managed to get straight A's in school, of course, and she got A++ with me along the way. That is Talia Bender. Curious, thoughtful, full of heart, but most importantly, and Alexis, you said this word, grit. She had grace and grit. And that, to me, is the ingredients of what a trailblazer looks like, what a leader looks like, and what anyone that is going to succeed in business needs to look like. At the age of 26, I made Talia president of my company. The most important thing to know is that leadership is not about age. It's about action. Action, 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 walking the talk. And I always say I hire for purpose, I hire for passion, I train for skill, unless you want to be a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant. Other than that, today, Talia is, are you 33? 33. We've been together a really long time. We are decades and decades apart. But what we share is our common vision, our mission, our purpose, our drive. Talia is the yin to my yang. I am crazy. I come up with the most ridiculous ideas. And I always say as a trailblazer, you have to be the first, the originator, the second, the copycat, and the third, the sweeper. Talia is fearless. She will take it on with a yes, and she will make it happen even when I actually don't believe it's possible. There is nothing impossible in Talia's world. And I am so incredibly proud to work side by side. My real daughter's here. Talia's my daughter of choice. I have to introduce and welcome you all to a fearless, badass, you can bleep that if you want, trailblazer, leader, my role model. And I'm so inspired by you. Get on up here. Oh, wait. That's called empathy. Thank you.
Shelley, your words mean the world to me. And for those of you who know us, you know this is one of the few things that Shelley got away with behind my back. The last time was my engagement to my husband 10 years ago. Shelley, thank you. Hi, everyone. As Shelley just shared, I was a 19-year-old college student seeking career advice when her son, Alex, connected us. She offered me an internship on the spot. She took me under her wing, and Shelley, I don't know if you remember this, but 3 weeks in, I joined her on a business trip to Spain. When the summer ended, as you just heard, I stayed on and continued interning with Shelley as I was a full-time student. A few months later, the beginnings of the FQ were born. We attended CES, where at the time only 5% of attendees were women, and we gathered a group of 50 of them. That is the moment that we coined the phrase, the power of the pack. So much of what the FQ has become is possible because many of you believed in the impact that we could all make together. It is such an honor to be the president of the FQ, an experience and media company with the largest global community of women in business, millions strong across over 30 industries. From Davos to Cannes Lions, the WNBA All-Star Game to the Super Bowl, and behind every major Formula One race. We are the fabric of connection, visibility, and opportunity. We show up where it matters most. We don't just attend those moments, we help shape them. And we don't just create community, we build influence. Something I'm especially proud of is that we host our own marquee experiences, including our Women in AI Summit, and we've also developed a dynamic media network to tell the original stories that inspire, celebrate, and lift women across the globe. I've had the privilege of learning from some of the most powerful women in the world, many of whom are here tonight. You have taught me that trailblazers are not made alone. They are made through the power of collaboration. I want to thank so many of you who have been critical in my journey. To New York Women in Communications, thank you so much for elevating women in our industry. To our partners, you are our driving force. Your partnership has been the foundation to our success, and your friendships are what fuel us every day. To our incredible FQ team, you're the absolute best in the business, and I love you all so much. To my mom and brother, thank you, Ari, for coming too. To my mom who's here from LA, you've taught me everything, especially about relationships and leadership. And to Shelly, my mentor and champion, I am forever grateful. Thank you for believing in me at such an early age and giving me the opportunity of a lifetime. Our team and the industry at large learn daily from your boundless generosity and wisdom. I'd like to close with some of the best advice that I've learned along the way. First, value real relationships. In business, and especially as women, one of our greatest superpowers is building true friendships. Don't be transactional. Truly care about the people you work with, the customers you serve, and the leaders that you surround yourself with. Be there in the ups and the downs. I learned early on that deals come and go, but relationships last a lifetime. Second, build your peer group. We often focus on mentors and mentees, but we don't talk enough about our peers. My peers, the friends and colleagues who are navigating the same career and life stages as me, have been great contributors to my advancement. Share the highs and the lows together and raise each other up. In fact, tonight, I encourage each of you to introduce 2 people in your network who you think would genuinely like each other with no agenda other than connecting really special people with one another. That's how strong communities are built. And lastly, here is one of my favorite quotes. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. I hope you all keep identifying your gifts and claiming your talents. Own them and bring them to the world because we need you. Thank you all so much for celebrating with us tonight. This is the power of the pack.